Happy Easter, everyone. This is my Easter message to us all. Like myself, it is untraditional, but guided by tradition. Recently, while walking along the Buffalo Trace Trail, I caught sight of the stunning spikes of the Honey Locust Tree and was reminded of the crown of thorns and was struck by how this plant had a relative yet dramatic consciousness. That it had evolved to defend itself from critters who were likely after its bean pods, its means of reproduction. And while this tree had also received love from nature in innumerable ways, it obviously had gotten wise and made strengths of its own vulnerability. It then occurred to me that even if you were not religious, this same sort of consciousness gave the world a man called Jesus, or at a higher level, a human level. And I'm not religious in the traditional sense. I've come to learn that there were other avatars born to do great things. Even if we might say as an entity, Jesus became like the sun itself, that he was the ultimate son of God, good, to warm over the earth, spread love, peace, and to help unlock and awaken us to our greater growth. Our friend the Honey Locust Tree has been subject to a millennia of being battered, winded, pilfered, raided, left exhausted by its enemies. So has the world endured eons of human criminality, brutality, and all the rest in a war with itself. And through the centuries, many people were also born, if just in those earthly terms, to fight injustices for something higher and greater for human beings. That too is nature, or natural to the spirit of man. And Jesus Christ was most certainly one of these, if not the most significant to have ever been born. I know the religious crowd will not disagree. It is unfortunate that many philosophers and other thinkers of high reputation would come to create such split understanding between the sciences and spirituality or godliness. Life really isn't that compartmentalized. I've always said, God is in the math. Keeping the good in that math is another subject. But to the purely evolution-minded, my statement would simply be, Jesus became needed by mankind and was born for us. Some obviously term it Immaculate Conception, which is tragically misunderstood by Occidental culture. But if it helps you to simply define it by astrophysics, proto-starism, or whatever, then so be it. For no matter the name, there was a precise moment of colliding and collision and light and dark, all thrown together to find itself forcing its way into the world, then through a womb. And yes, great love was involved. If the evolutionists can believe all of the other like moments under a microscope or in the distant heavens, then why not that? Exactly. Same forces, different spaces and variables, but it's all about gnosis, end of day. And no, not all of the forces can be readily explained. We just generally see and accept the results like those spiky thorns on the Honey Locust Tree. It's just understood. Nature's music resonating. And there have certainly been religions formed just around plants and trees. I would be willing to put forth that very much like we are roughly at the 12,000-year mark for a major earthly shakeup, that the Babylonian-like darkness we see that has infested the world at every level, America becoming simply another Roman Empire in decline, there will soon be born a new avatar, a Christ reincarnate, and that you and I may not be alive to know him, but the clock is so close, surely your children or possibly grandchildren are destined for the experience. Or perhaps the avatar is already here, suckling his mother's breast, or being scolded by teachers for too much question asking. Like the avatars before Jesus, this one will be like nothing the world has known or seen, is my assumption. And my proposal is that he will have been given or has been born of another name. History shows us as much. Not to make light, but until he is revealed, for now we will call him Next Level Jesus. But until that defining moment is realized, take heed and take heart. Spring is rebirth, Easter is the resurrection. So the questions, shall we make it the birth of the avatar within ourselves, awaken it for the fight to come? For it lives in us like the sun's rays first penetrated the world, becoming a part of every living thing. So has the light and spirit of Christ. His avatar atoms are now our own. They flow through us. God bless, my friends. Peace profundus, and happy Easter.